You ever sit back and think? What separates the man who always seems to get the respect, the admiration, and the loyalty of women from the guy who just can't figure it out? It's not always looks. It's not money. It's not even status, although that helps. No, it's something deeper. It's how he moves. It's how he thinks. It's the way he reads between the lines. Because he knows, whether we like to admit it or not, relationships are filled with tests, hidden meanings, and subtle games. But a high-value man doesn't panic. He doesn't argue. He doesn't try to chase or prove his worth. He doesn't get baited into reacting. Instead, he understands. He understands what's really going on underneath the surface. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Not just how to spot the games, but how to stay calm, sharp, and unshakable through every single one. See? The problem most guys face isn't that they don't want to be high value, it's that they don't even realize they're walking into a game in the first place. They think, she pulled away? I must have done something wrong. I should double text her, call her, remind her I'm here. Or, she's acting cold? I need to win her back. They fall into this trap of chasing validation, of explaining themselves, of asking, what did I do? Instead of standing firm in who they are. That's the difference. High-value men don't get pulled into the storm. They are the calm. Because once you understand what a test looks like and what it's for, you stop reacting, and you start leading. Now let's get one thing straight. When we talk about women's games, we're not saying women are manipulative or bad. A lot of these so-called games, they're unconscious. They're emotional safety checks. They're little tests women run, sometimes without even realizing it, to find out who you really are beneath the surface. Because anyone can say the right things at first. Anyone can pretend to be confident for a week or two. But when the moment gets uncomfortable, that's when the mask slips. So when she says something that feels off, when she pulls away for a bit, when she criticizes you out of nowhere, it's not always about you messing up. It might be her way of asking, are you the real deal? Or are you just another guy pretending to be strong? And this is where most men fail. Because they take it personally. They defend themselves. They argue. Or they get scared and start overgiving, trying to fix something that wasn't even broken. A high-value man? He doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't chase answers. He observes. He listens. He responds with clarity, not emotion. Let's talk about one of the most common games, the silence test. Everything seems to be going well. She's texting, she's laughing, you're vibing. And then suddenly, nothing. She goes cold. Maybe she ignores your text. Maybe she says she's busy, and then you see her posting on social media 2 hours later. Now, right here, is where most guys crumble. They start thinking, what did I do wrong? Is she losing interest? Should I say something? Maybe if I remind her how amazing I am, she'll come back. But a high-value man sees this silence as a moment of clarity. He understands that if a woman pulls back, it's either because she's testing to see if he'll chase her, or she's genuinely unsure and watching how he reacts under pressure. Either way, the answer is the same. You don't chase silence. You match her energy. You keep living. You don't reward withdrawal with more attention. You stay grounded. And that's when the real magic happens. Because the moment she realizes you're not desperate for her response, that you're not going to beg or panic, you become 10 times more attractive. Not because you played a game, but because you didn't. Another classic game, the jealousy trigger. She brings up another guy, a friend, a coworker, someone who complimented her, and she watches how you react. Now, don't get it twisted. Sometimes it's innocent. But other times, she's watching. Is this guy going to freak out? Is he going to get insecure? Is he going to try and prove he's better than the other guy? Or will he just smile, nod, and keep his cool? Because the truth is, a high-value man knows he's not in competition with anyone. He doesn't need to mark his territory like a scared dog. He's already chosen. He already knows what he brings. So when she brings up another man, he doesn't react with jealousy. He responds with confidence. And sometimes with silence. That silence, that smirk, that calm energy, that's more powerful than any argument, any accusation, any outburst. Because it shows you're not shaken, you know who you are. Another subtle game? Emotional bait. She'll say something like, "I feel like you don't really care," or "I just think you don't try as hard as you used to." Now again, this isn't about being dismissive. A high-value man listens. He hears what she's saying, but he doesn't jump through hoops to prove anything. He doesn't go, no, I care, let me show you. Let me plan a big date. Let me send you flowers right now." That's a reactive move. And reactive men are easy to control. Instead, he calmly asks, "What makes you feel that way?" Because he's not afraid of emotions. He's not scared of discomfort. He invites clarity. He doesn't perform. He connects. And that's how he flips the game on its head. By not reacting emotionally, he forces a deeper emotional response from her. One of the strongest traits of a high-value man, he doesn't reveal everything. He's mysterious, not in a fake way, but in a grounded way. He doesn't rush to explain himself. He doesn't overshare. He lets people wonder. He lets women wonder. And that mystery, that's power. Because when she doesn't know exactly what you're thinking, when she can't read you like an open book, she becomes curious. She starts investing more. She leans in. That's not a game. That's leadership. That's energy control. Because the second you start explaining every move, every thought, every feeling, you lose your frame. A high-value man keeps his frame no matter what's happening around him. Eventually, every high-value man gets tested with boundaries. Maybe she says something disrespectful. Maybe she tries to guilt-trip him. Maybe she cancels plans last minute. And in that moment, how you respond defines everything. Because if you let it slide just to keep her around, you teach her that your standards are flexible. But if you say, calmly, "Hey, I don't accept that," or "That's not how I move," you don't just gain respect, you gain self-respect. A high-value man doesn't punish or yell. He simply removes himself from situations that don't match his standards. And when you can walk away from disrespect, even from someone you're deeply attracted to, that's when you win the game without playing it. Now let's be real, none of this is about being cold or distant. A high-value man is emotionally intelligent. He's grounded. He can express himself clearly. He just doesn't let emotions control him. He doesn't blow up. He doesn't panic. He doesn't chase. He communicates with calm certainty. So if she's upset, he listens. If she's confused, he seeks clarity. But he never becomes emotionally unstable trying to win approval. Because the real strength of a man isn't in how loud he is. It's in how steady he is when the room shakes. So if you really want to outsmart the games, don't fight fire with fire. Don't play the same game back. Don't argue. Don't chase. Don't over-explain. Stand in your truth. Hold your boundaries. Stay curious, not reactive. Respond with clarity, not emotion. And most importantly, know your value. Because once you truly know what you bring to the table, you stop trying to prove it. You become the man women want to be around. Not because you chase them, but because you make them chase clarity, consistency, and calm. And that is how high-value men win the game, by not playing it. She may test you to see what you're made of. But when you pass with calm, grounded presence, she'll never forget you.